Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl Ashley, the amateur expert, coming to you live today for this episode of Talk Tuesday. Super, super excited to have my ween sister Megan on with us today. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to be chatting with Megan about her career path, her ideas of success, and the tips and motivators that she has used along the way. We are also in post celebration of my birthday, as well as the launch of the Everybody Wins and the Family Blooms campaign from my other brand, Affirmed Armor. So I am rocking a new crop that says I'm evolving because I am. And so we have Megan with us, so I'm going to allow her in and we will get started. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. How's everyone doing today? Let me know in the chat. Hey, Megan.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
I am well. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. We are here and we are going to be inspired by your story. So I'm super excited to get started. Also, shout out to Ween for bringing us together.
Yes.
Had to say it. Had to say it. Okay, so tell me this. Um, Tell me a little bit about yourself and
Okay.
what you are doing currently for work.
Wow. So, about myself, I would say I self-identify as a multi-passionate professional working
Yes.
within the intersection of marketing, business, communications to ultimately build stronger communities for all of us. And I have the privilege of serving as the National Director of Marketing and Communications for All Stars Project Inc., where we use one of my favorite things, performance, ultimately to develop our youth, to build
Mm.
bridges, racial, economic, and social bridges to develop a more caring 21st century. So I pretty much say I get to wake up and do my favorite thing every day.
I love that. And also, let's not, you said that so quickly, but I think I heard you say national director. So, okay, big ups to the title, sis. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell me when you were a little girl, Megan, what did you want to be when you grew up, and what was sort of like the motivating factor behind that?
So I was that weird child that I never dreamed about like what I want to be. When I grew up, I knew how I wanted to make people feel. So even when I was in
Mm,
kindergarten, I got in trouble for being too helpful.
mm-hmm,
And so
mm-hmm,
I knew at the core of me, I always wanted to do something that was giving back or being able to lend a helping hand to my neighbor or the boy in my kindergarten class who decided to cut his tongue and then stick a pencil through it. And I'm just like, Miss Didlake, Antoine just did this. Um, so as that was just me, like I always knew that I just wanted to do something around like helping. But
mm-hmm.
then also as I got older, I recognized the influence and the power of media and entertainment. And so I knew I wanted to do something that kind of merged the both of that, like performance, media, entertainment. I see the influence, but also I'm seeing clearly this boy in kindergarten who something was going on. But also just through my walks in life, I've been able to interact with various communities and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how we can come together to make a greater impact and serve each other. So that's kind of how what I wanted to do. I never had a dream of like, I want to be the next, Oprah.
Right.
It was more so like, I know how I want to make people feel. I see these gaps in my communities. I see the,
Mm-hmm.
the need and how can I fill it? And
Feel it.
even in kindergarten, I'm getting in trouble for trying to fill the gaps. So
Fill the gaps. That's so funny. Yeah. So, I've mentioned this once or twice before, but I was also very weird in what I wanted to do when I was younger. So I wanted to do what no one else wanted to be, right? And
hmm
so there was this commercial back in the day, and it was an anti-drug commercial, and it was like all these little kids saying, "I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a basketball
yeah.
player. I want to be this. I want to be that." And then this like little grungy kid is like, "No one ever says they want to be a junkie," and I was like, "I do."
Oh
I want to
my.
be a junkie. Yeah, my mom was had to steer me away from that very quickly. But I do think it says something about those people who don't think like,
Yeah.
who think off the beaten path. Um, okay, so tell me, what did you think success was when you were younger? How would define it, or what did it look like?
I think for me, in the similar vein, I think for me it was just how can I do more?
Mm-hmm.
I I think growing up, I'm intense, so I love hard. I do everything. I'm 100. Some people are all in. I'm like, if you're 100%, I'm 250% in. And
Mm.
so I think for me, it's like, how can I just do more? How can I give of myself more? And I think that's where like the passions come into play. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I want to do. I want to do this, that, and the third. And I want to be the best, do it all with like excellence and be the best and best in it. And so it's like,
Yeah.
how can I do what I do to the best of my ability and give all of myself. I think that's I want whatever success is to me is like giving all of myself, using all of my talents, all of my gifts until I can't do it anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like. So I think that's, to me, that's what I guess success looks like.
And so did your definition change as you went along in your career?
I would say it's the same. I feel like even now I'm still that person that's going to send you an email at 5 in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, just because I'm always thinking of like, oh, well, there's this one girl in our program who can do this, and how can I connect her to this person?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm a connector, so it's like, how can I
Mm-hmm.
connect this and this and all these different dots? So I think it looks the same. It's just the way I do it has evolved over time.
For
So
sure.
like when I'm in kindergarten, I think it was, I'm skipping recess and going to the art room to help the kindergartners with art because, again, that's one of my passions. And then it's like when I got to college, it's like I'm in all these different clubs and organizations and trying to
Mm-hmm.
connect our university to our economic development center. And I went to the president's office. It's like, ma'am, we need to buy property downtown because we need to get students off the hill and get them into the community. So we're not just looked at as those weird girls who went to Mary Baldwin and weren't integrated into the community. So I think it
I
looked
love
the
that.
same, but just it
Mm-hmm.
evolved in how it looked over time.
Sure. I love that. Okay. So you are you followed your path, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when you shared when you were younger, you wanted to help people
Yeah.
and make an impact in the community, and you're doing that. So how did you sort of make your way to being this national director of marketing and communications, right? Like, so like, did you like
Yeah.
how did we get there?
Ooh, where do we start?
Mm.
I where to start? Um, I think the root of it was just feeling meeting the needs, doing like you actually like doing the work that no one wants to do, seeing the gaps, and it's like how can we fill them? And I think in any role from so caveat, again, I saw the need in my community. So when I was 14, I decided to start a nonprofit with my sister called Helping Hands Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
Helping Hand. Um, and my whiteboard just fell. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, are you okay?
Oh yes, I'm fine.
Okay, as long as
Um,
you're okay.
Thank you, sis. And so I think for me, it's always been just like lending a helping hand, filling the needs in my community. So my sister and I decided to start a company, and then there we were connected to. We ran it for 3 years. The Great Recession happened.
Mm-hmm.
Had to close our doors. We got all our friends to work for us,
I love this.
and during the recession, I think that's where, for me, I was like, I just want to be normal. I want to know what it looks like to just be a traditional student. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was able to build relationships with my peers. Um, and still, I was still involved in my community, of course. But I just wanted to do the things, again, like most people didn't want to do. I was the only female in my um, digital architecture class.
Mm-hmm.
And so then one day my counselor came to me and was like, hey, I have this opportunity. Like the county needs a youth voice to build how do we connect students to our career technical education opportunities. So again, community centered
Mm-hmm.
education, youth. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
how I was able to really lean into my like digital kind of like film. I did a youth film and I created like
Okay.
different advertisements and stuff. So that's how I really got introduced to like marketing, communications.
Mm-hmm.
How can I use my talents, but to connect youth with opportunities, but also to show like, hey, like we have talented youth in our community who can do
Mm-hmm.
different things. And how do we create those paths for them, or how can we get them to see the different career paths that they have? And that's kind of
Right.
been the nucleus of my work from there. And I don't want to go through my whole resume, but fast forward, I was in Wien, obviously, with you, and one of our Wien sisters, Joao, reached out and was like, hey, like my company's looking for a social media coordinator. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I know someone. And then I was like, well, I can just do it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got into the company and I did some consultant work from that for them. And then afterwards, they offered me a full-time position. And so here I am.
I love that. And I think that having a heart to serve, having a heart
Mhm.
to give back, and literally doing the work always opens the door for opportunities. And so I'm proud of you. But also, I think it's a very good message to share because a lot of times I think people think like you just like, grind, grind, grind. But I think it's the heart behind it that helps. Tiara's in the chat
I see her.
acting up. And so, and a lot of Wing Sisters are in the building. So, hello, y'all. We love y'all. We need to do a link up soon. Okay, so Meg, tell me this. Okay, along your career path and your journey, what are some of the tips and motivators you've used to keep you going?
Don't forget your why. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what keeps me going. My why. Um, as I've shared, I think my heart's with community, my heart's with people, my heart's 125,000% with our youth. I think they're our future leaders. I think they're going to be, um, they have the vision of what our world looks like moving forward, and we have
Mm-hmm.
to listen to them. And so I think for me, along my journey, regardless, and again, I'm still very young, but I think the way that our youth think, I love. Um, and so I think for me, that's what has always kept me in my journeys. Like my why is my why, my the youth, and how do we create and envision a future where they can still have an earth to live
Mm-hmm.
on. Don't get me started there, but also too where they have more opportunities than we do, and
For
they
sure.
can continue pushing everything forward. And so I think that's been my biggest tip is don't forget your why, but also too like don't forget where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, like I'm a foster care alumni. A lot of people don't know that. And just knowing the obstacles, the trials and tribulations I've been through, as well as the adversities that I went through, but also many of our youth go through, how do we alleviate those so that they have a clearer path of less barriers that
Mm-hmm.
they can go forward in? And so I think for me, that's my passion, that's my fire and my belly. It's just our youth and just stay connected to your why.
I love that. So what's something that you know now that you wish you had known sooner?
I think your path's not linear. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my path has taken me to Guatemala, Nicaragua, India. I didn't have the traditional path of I graduated school, I got this nice cushion corporate job, and I stayed there. I followed my passion and my why, and it's taken me across the globe
Mm-hmm.
to many different places, and many times your journey may not make sense to other people,
Girl,
and
speak
that's
on it.
I know your journey may not make sense to other people, and that's okay. And when they
Mm-hmm.
question you, go back to your why and
Mm-hmm.
keep pushing forward so that ultimately you're doing what God, because I'm a Christian, what God ordained you to do on this earth. Be obedient to what His plan is, submit to it, surrender to it,
Mm-hmm.
die to yourself every day, and then keep
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. And so I think that's been my journey of just being obedient. And every time I've been obedient, He's opened new doors, opened new doors. I said, yes, sis, let me help you open new doors. And I don't know what the future looks like. And that is okay. And I
Mm-hmm.
must submit to it, surrender to it, and keep moving forward.
Girl, I'm about to have to put on my ushering gloves and pass this plate. You was preaching up on this podcast today.
I mean, if we want to
Um,
go there, Ashley, we can.
we have Deaconess with us. Let me know if there's another path for you coming up soon. No, but seriously, I think it's so important to share that. My little sister just joined, and I think it's important for her and for all of our youth to hear that, like, you know, um, have your North Star,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, know that this is what you want to do, but know that it may not look like what you think it's going to look like or what even the next person is doing who has the same North Star. And it can be incredibly frustrating. Like, so let's
But
keep it a buck,
But
right?
I think even adding on to that, Ashley, you never know what's on the other side of your obedience. So
Mm-hmm.
that by you being obedient, saying, yes, I'm going to stay late. Yes, I'm going to show up early. Yes, I'm going to get out of my bed and do whatever I need to do. You never know who you're going to meet. And that happened to me. Like, my pastor called and was like, come to the church. It's Saturday. You need to come meet this lady. Okay. She has a job for you in South Africa. Where? I was obedient. Next year, I'm flying halfway across the world. Well, in the middle, like going to Africa, to South Africa specifically, to serve for, I didn't know how long. You know, we had different presidents. Again, we don't want to get into politics, but so yeah, and even with that, there were so many different twists and turns and curveballs. But God was able to use that season of my life, not only for myself, but also too for the youth that I worked with in the community that I was in at the time. So you just never know what's on the other side of your obedience. And so you can't be married to that plan, your checklist, because you also want to be open to receiving what God has for you or your creator has for you in that season.
No, that's so important. Like, I can't even, that is my testimony, right? Like, you literally have no idea. And it's that one yes that turns into another yes. And it's sometimes like, yes.
Like, you sure you go? Okay.
Yes, okay, I think I'll do it. No, I'm gonna do it. But it's so important, I think, to say yes and to, you know, stay connected and to your why. And so my why, I think, has shifted to like, your will be done, right? Like, so God, what is it that you want from me? Because I had so many other, like, our sister Yenna says, her North Star has been all over the compass. Man, yes, for sure. That has also been my testimony, and I think it still is. But I think as long as we keep our hearts pure and have the heart to serve and are open to saying yes to the call, God just shoots you through the stratosphere.
Definitely.
Which is insane. Megan, I'm trying to think what I feel like I need to pass the offering plate, so, or have testimony service. But what we gonna do next? Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about affirmations. So, as you know, I am the founder of Affirmed Armor Apparel and Accessories, and we just launched our second collection, which is Everyone Wins When the Family Blooms. And it also warms my heart to see all of the Wing Sisters in here, because it just reminds me of that bond that we created and lifting as you climb and all of the things. And so we introduced a new affirmation, which was I am evolving. And so I want to know from you, what is your go-to affirmation?
I feel like in this season of my life right now, my go-to affirmation is just do it. Do it scared, do it happy, do it glad, do it crying. Just do it, because I believe, especially the past 2 years, it's shown us that tomorrow's not always promised. Sadly for me, over the past even just last year, I lost over 11 friends and family members. And so it just reminds me that, hey, you know what? Tomorrow's not promised. And kind of like I shared earlier, it's like there's so much to me, because it's like there's so much more that needs to be done. There's so much work that needs to be done. And tomorrow's not promised. And I want to ensure that I just do my part. Like, Lord, I'm not asking to be the next president of the United States, but wherever place you put me, wherever land my feet may stand on, I want to ensure that your glory is done. I want to ensure that all of my gifts and talents, I don't want to be the person like I still have a drop left. I don't want to have that. I want to be spread out and just be like, I'm done. I did it all. What else do you need me to do? Yes, I want to be empty. So I think in this season, it's just do it. Also, I'm a former athlete, so it's like just do it like Nike. My mom used to say that all the time. I'm a triplet, so we would be running to the car, and my mom would be like, "All right, guys, let's just do it like Nike," and we're just like, "Okay."
I love it.
For me, it's
I
just
love
do it.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so I want to know, are there any ways that we can support you? Any projects that you have coming up? Ways that we can give back, or what do you have coming up and how can we support you?
Ooh. Well, at my company, our gala is coming up in May, and it's virtual, I believe. So you can always come support, see our youth performers. We have youth performers at our gala. You also can volunteer with us, or just I would send a charge, volunteer in your community, stay involved. There are young people. One, need to see people that look like them, and can relate to them, but also just you can't be what you can't see. And so get involved in your community, whatever that may look like, whether it's being a big sister, volunteering with your local church, your food pantry, or just giving to the person who may be experiencing homelessness. Just I go to McDonald's. Sometimes I don't always give cash. I'll be like, can I go to Subway, McDonald's? Like, do you need a lunch, a meal, or just water? It's going to start getting warmer. So if you have a bottle of water or something, but just giving back to your community in whatever way that looks like. But to me, just support our organization that I'm connected to right now, or just in general, support your community. That's how you're helping me help us. I believe in the concept of Ubuntu. I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am complete.
Amen. As you know, I am the amateur expert and I know just a little bit about a lot. So Megan, the last question of tonight is going to be for you to give me a random fact, tidbit information, anything that you can share with us.
Okay, I think I have one. So my niece loves all things Disney.
Okay.
And she loves unicorns. And so I told her I was like, Kylan, unicorns don't exist. And so I'm Googling, I'm like, let me make sure I'm telling this girl like the right stuff. So I recently learned, because of my niece, that the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland, which I had no clue.
So it's a real thing.
No, it's not real, but it is their national animal.
Interesting.
Yep. And like they have it all throughout Scotland. They have like unicorns placed in different places. It used to be, I think, on their like their
crest.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, Megan, that is something that I did not know. So I appreciate you teaching me that today.
And thank my niece.
Yes, Thailand, you said?
Yes.
Thank you to her. And thank you for being our guest today. It was so good to catch up with you, to learn about you and what you're doing and how we can all help our communities. So thank you, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you, Ashley.
Bye.
Bye.